Hey guys, it's Zach here. So Netflix has been in Australia for less than a year, and I still remember waking up early on launch night to sign up and to basically start streaming straight away. And for a lot of us here in Australia, it was a very long wait to finally get Netflix in our country, and I'm sure like a lot of Aussies, we were really excited and we loved it when it first launched. But over time, we soon realized that the Australian Netflix library definitely was missing key titles. I know personally, The Walking Dead was something that I was hoping would be in the Australian library, and it wasn't, and it's not available, and man, am I totally bummed out about it. But anyway, let's move on. So I'm sure on YouTube, if you just do a few searches, you can find multiple videos of people giving you tips, tricks, and advice on how to get around geo-blocking, which is basically how Netflix prevents you from accessing content that's not licensed to be viewed in your respective country. So here in Australia, we have other service providers that have already licensed a lot of other content. So The Walking Dead is currently only legally available on certain pay television channels and therefore not available on Netflix Australia. So not that I was actually deliberately trying to get access to Netflix USA, but I was actually recently on holiday over Christmas, and I was holidaying over in Bali, which is an island in Indonesia, and I had my iPad with me in the hotel, and I thought, I'm going to fire up Netflix because there's free Wi-Fi, and I'm going to stream and watch some shows that I want to catch up on while I'm on holiday chilling in my hotel room. Unfortunately, Netflix does not operate in Indonesia. It probably will shortly because Netflix are planning to launch in over 190 odd countries in the next couple of years. But in the meantime, there was no Netflix in Indonesia. So I did a search on the Apple App Store, and I came across this app called Betternet, and it's basically a VPN, and hopefully you guys all know what VPNs do. They kind of trick your iPad into thinking that you're located in another country. And in this case, when I'm using this app, I'm basically getting directed through USA servers, which allows me to coincidentally access the USA Netflix library. Now, this app is free to download. It is actually free to use. I noticed that there's no bandwidth restrictions like other providers that might limit you to a few hundred megabytes per month, which if you're streaming, you're probably going to be using that up very quickly. I also noticed they didn't ask me to set up a user ID or a password or an account with them. I basically just downloaded the app, activate the VPN, and I'm automatically being routed through USA servers. 2 thumbs up. So Betternet is free to download. It's available on iOS, there's Android, there's Mac, there's PC versions as well. So, this is definitely an app that I can recommend. Now, I'm not getting paid or endorsed by the company themselves. I'm simply sharing this with you guys because this was an app that I found really handy to use while I was traveling and while I was on holidays. Now, it's interesting to note that while this all works, and the video you'll see me using it, and it all works right now at the time of filming, I actually read an article the other week where Netflix was actually starting to crack down on users deliberately trying to bypass geo-blocking. So people using VPNs such as this program, people using little changes to their DNS settings in order to circumvent licensing and the whole geo-blocking situation that we currently have across the different markets around the world. So if you're watching this video now, then hopefully you can go out and use this program, and you can get lucky and you might be able to access USA Netflix or US content. Of course, if you're located somewhere else in the world, you might get redirected to a different server. So you might end up on the UK server instead. And unfortunately, with the free version, there's no way for me to really change what server I'm actually connecting to. It's all done automatically, so you might have to try your luck here, and hopefully you'll end up with a server that you actually want to connect to. Now, getting back to Netflix cracking down on everything, it'll be interesting to see in a few weeks or a few months whether or not any of these VPN programs and protocols still work, because Netflix in their article didn't really go into too much detail about how they're going to stop users from circumventing geo-blocking. But knowing the community that we live in now on the internet, as soon as these sort of restrictions are put in place, there's usually some smart person on the other side of the world that figures a workaround or a hack. So we'll just have to wait and see whether or not, we can still use our VPNs and our DNS server setting changes in the future once Netflix start to crack down on all of this. So I guess in the meantime, enjoy it while you can. Hopefully we'll still be able to use these methods for a little bit longer, just so we can catch up on all the US or UK content that we can't currently access in our home markets. So if you like this video, why don't you hit that like button, subscribe for new content, and I'll see you in the next video.